Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about Phoebus football, and it is an exciting subject. My guest is Coach Jeremy Blunt. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You are a Phoebus tradition.
I guess you could say that.
So you've been involved since you were in high school.
Yes.
And played for Phoebus. Won one state championship before you graduated.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was the coach then? What was it like to be part of the team?
Coach Bill D was the head coach. I started off as an 8th grader. He had an amazing staff around him, and Greg Day, Greg Narvit, Stan Sexton, Jerry King, and a host of Dickie Van Dyke, and a host of other guys that,
Some of them are still there.
They are.
Yeah.
Coach Van Dyke is still a part of the staff right now.
So what was that like?
Yeah, it was tough. It was stressful, but it was fun. They set a great environment around us. You know, the expectations to work hard and, be positive role models in and throughout the building. That was something that Coach D greatly believed in. And, so we knew that when you joined that staff that you really, when you joined the program that you truly had to embody those things. And, so we did a wonderful job following in those footsteps and continue to push towards those expectations.
And was it your senior year that you all won that state championship?
Yes, so the 2001 season was my senior year. And
that really kicked off a new generation of Phoebus football championships.
Yes,
it's
did.
Not like certainly the first time ever, but was really a new chapter.
It did. It really did start a tradition of winning and winning on the highest level. Coach D has always he ran a wonderful program, and year in and year out you were going to compete to be in a position. But that year, we really pushed forward and we made it took the opportunity and we ended up winning the whole thing. So from there on, it kind of just took on a life of its own.
So then you went away to college.
Yes.
To play football?
I did. I went down to Raleigh, North Carolina, St. Augustine's College, a Division II team down there, and had a great opportunity, learned some great things, played for a great head coach and defensive coordinator. Really taught me a lot about the game, and I contribute a lot of what I know now as a coach to, from an organizational standpoint, Coach D, winning and putting goals and following those goals and objectives. But then my college coaches, they really took my knowledge to another level.
That's good. Yeah, more than one place. So then you came back, went to Hampton University, but didn't play. Explain how that happened and how that felt.
So I came back home, and at the time, my wife and I, we were having a child. So coming back home was something that I needed to do. Hampton was a great opportunity for me, and I was able to get in.
It's a great school.
Beautiful school. And, so I'm out there and I'm working out and I tear my knee.
So in a workout, you never even made it to the first game. It was just,
no. And this was personal. It was a personal workout. I had a personal trainer when I transferred back home, and I sustained an ACL injury.
Oh, those are so bad. They sideline so many people.
They do. And so, but I continued to push forward and focused on school, and, so that's how I transitioned into coaching.
Mm-hmm. And you were even coaching before you graduated, or did you wait until after? That's a big...
No, so I actually, the deacon in my church, he's now my fraternity brother as well for Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated. He runs a local organization, the Kappa Cardinals. And he asked me to come out and if I had some time to give back. And, so I did it, worked with my school schedule. So that was my first experience working out there with the Kappa organization.
And there's different age groups in that.
Yes, so
it's
that
like a
spanned from 6 to 14.
That's very different than working with, high school or college players who are seasoned enough to be pretty serious.
Oh yeah, just from a physical standpoint and mentally, though, when you get to that higher level, you can hold a little bit more. So, but it was a great experience. It taught me a lot of patience.
I bet it did. Being a parent did too, I found. It changes your outlook on everything and how you deal with people.
Well, I tell you, the older I get coaching, the more of a parent I feel like I am out there.
Well, I think that's an important part. Coaches are not quite parents, but mentors and adult figures in the lives of players in an intense way. I mean, you know that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, to me, we do more of that. We do more of the parenting piece than we do, the actual coaching. So it's that becomes a byproduct of the work that we put in with those guys outside of the field. The winning is a byproduct. So.
And did that influence your life? I should talk to you about that. I only talked about playing on the team, but having that experience, having them help, make sure you got grades, you stayed up, or were you just like, I'm smart, I'm good, I don't need all that?
No, that it's always a focus, and you understand that, you have to put everything in place, and what is most important, when I was a player, as a coach, it's about, when it's all said and done, preparing myself, and I know Coach D and them felt the same way, and us as coaches now, preparing these kids for the next 40 years of their life. So
right, it's not just for college football or potentially pro football. Not everybody makes it, of course. It's about learning life, learning to be successful, learning to be set goals and reach goals. I mean, there's so much involved in team sports.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Okay, so I interrupted your story. How did you get back to Phoebus?
Coaching with the Kappa organization, Coach D in 2006, he found out I was back home and I sustained an injury, and he asked me if I wanted to come and join the program. At the time, I wasn't ready because, the program deserved my full commitment. And, and just the hours from my school schedule as opposed to the workout hours at Phoebus, I knew I wouldn't be able to make it happen. So we kind of danced around that 2 years in a row. And then in 2008, when I was actually prepared, he looked at me and he was like, "Hey, I'm retiring." So I was like, "Well, I waited too long." And then comes Stan Sexton, and he was one of my former coaches. So, it ended up being a great opportunity for me.
So you're sort of the third leg of the stool for Phoebus in the modern tradition of winning football. You were both under Coach D and Coach Sexton, and now you're the head coach. How does that feel?
It's kind of cool when you look at it. I don't always put that into perspective, honestly. I guess to a degree I am from Coach D's tree, not necessarily his coaching tree, but I am from his tree. So that is pretty cool. Being a player for Coach D, you learned a lot. Coaching alongside Stan Sexton, you learned a lot. And, I take those two and I contribute a lot of what I do now to the success that we gained under those guys. So it's been fun. It's cool when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It's really neat to have those, you grow from being the mentee, the player, to the peer, to being the leader. It's a lot of responsibility.
It is. It's been a journey, I'll tell you that.
You're kind of fulfilling, that, I don't know even what to say, but you're fulfilling that legacy. It's like, growing up into the family business almost.
Yeah, you're right. And I guess, Coach Sexton, and I know if Coach D, if he were still here, he would say the same thing, that they can look and see a lot of what they gave us and see it paying off now. And they played a major role. They continue to play a major role in that program's success right now through me and through those coaches. Right.
So how does it feel, or is it too soon for you to say, what you have imparted to your players? Because you've been head coach how long?
So 2012, I took over. In 2012, I took over interim year, mid-year, and I was officially named head coach in 2013.
So, ballpark.
I've been around long, 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
I joined the staff in 2009, and then being at the head coaching position since 2013. Yeah, time flies.
So as head coach, what do you see of your legacy? Like your players, where are they? Do you stay in touch?
I do. I make it a point to build a personal relationship with each and every one of them. Some of them just based off of, it could be needs. It could be, needs from an emotional standpoint, from an academic standpoint, personal, whatever the case may be. Those relationships become stronger. And, I really do focus on staying in contact with them. I have kids that graduate, that invite me to their college graduations every year. Some players that have been married that have invited me to their weddings. So it is really cool. I have a few kids that I don't even know when they're coming in town. They'll just pop up at my house. So, I come home and, they're sitting at the table with my wife and my family and talking. And so it's a family affair. It's a family affair.
That's wonderful. Okay, so as head coach, your first state championship was?
2021, last year.
Okay. I thought you'd had one before that. So you had back-to-back state championships.
Yes, we did.
That's really impressive. I mean, take a moment to think about that. That is very hard to do.
It is. It's a lot of work that goes in from so many different angles. You have so many people working that, play a role, play a part.
And you have kind of a new team each year because, generally speaking, your seniors are the anchor of the team, and then they leave, and you have to figure out all new leadership and how people interact.
That is true. Every year the team takes on a new identity, new characters, new personalities in that locker room that we have to try to figure out a way to mold into, one sound body. And it's exciting. That process is exciting.
So looking back, how many state titles have you been a part of as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a head coach? How many of those pretty rings do you have?
6 of these.
6 of those.
6 out of the 9 we've been to. We had 10 appearances. 2018 was my first appearance. Wow. But it was also the program's first loss. So that kind of put some things into perspective for me. It was a new
first loss at that level.
Yes.
Other people have not necessarily, other teams have not necessarily gotten that far.
Right. So that puts some things into perspective. But I've been a part of 6 championships.
How did you feel?
Well, I told the boys after that 2018 loss in the locker room, right before I went in for our post-game interview, I told the guys that, I was the first captain to win it. And now I'm the first head coach to lose it.
Oh.
And
ouch.
Just that perspective in that moment. But I needed to get those guys reeled in. We had seniors that we needed to get focused on, finishing off and graduating and getting them signed and an opportunity on the next level. And then I wanted to get that rising senior class ready to, we needed a new set of goals and objectives during the off season. So this is certainly one of them. So it was something that when you put into perspective, you take a moment and you really reflect on it. I think that was what really helped drive us to where we are now.
How did the academies change team sports, or even did they? But I mean, right now, students have a lot of choice about which high school they go to. Did that make it easier? Did that make it harder to recruit players?
Well, when we lost, Phoebus used to have, when we had our feeder school, now Kilgore, it used to be Spradley. Mm-hmm. You knew, I attended Spradley Middle School. From every sport to band, or the extracurricular activities, you had the same set of kids that would follow through from 6th grade on to high school for the most part.
Yeah.
When we lost our feeder school, we had kids coming from different middle schools. These kids didn't interact with one another, didn't play with one another. So we were used to getting a set group of kids coming from different backgrounds and working them into one set goal. Mm-hmm. So I would say when the academies came around, it didn't feel any differently for us. There was no difference. We were used to that juggling that one little obstacle. So it was always exciting and a challenge that we took on. May have been a little more difficult for other schools because they didn't have, our situation was more unique.
Right.
So
right.
I don't think the academies changed anything as far as we're concerned. Just put it into perspective.
And your blood family is now a part of the Phoebus family, right? Tell us about how old your kids are and what they're up to.
Well, my oldest son, he's 18. He's a senior now. He's in the ACE program, so he'll graduate in June with an associate's degree from Thomas Nelson. My wife and I are excited about that.
It's such an amazing program.
It is.
I love it.
It's a wonderful program. I think the academies in general, you just look from school to school. Everyone is, there's some great things happening. So,
yeah.
My kid now, he's a testament to the great things happening. So, we're excited about it. It's so much so that my youngest son, he's 14. he's coming into Phoebus from Eaton Middle School, and he'll be joining the ACE program as well. So.
Now, did either one of them play football?
My youngest son played JV for me last year. He, during our first JV scrimmage, he sustained a major ankle injury.
Oh.
I mean, it was horrific. So he ended up not playing. It was season ending. He was just cleared a few weeks ago, so he can actually start moving around. I do not know if he'll play next year. We'll see. I'm not pressuring him, of course. I never do.
Right.
So, but that injury was so bad that from a psychological standpoint, he has some things that I know he'll have to work through.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough. And at that age, too.
Oh,
yeah, that's really hard.
It's tough. It's a tough pill. Tough pill, but it made him better, made him stronger.
Mm-hmm. And your daughter is?
She is 11. She plays volleyball at Eaton. So it's exciting. I watched their little playoff run. They're a really talented team. She was one of the youngest, so she didn't play much, but when she did get in, it was fun to watch. But her team was exciting to watch this year.
That's great.
So I'll continue to, enjoy my off times during the off season and watching some volleyball. It's my new thing.
Good. Well, so future. With your record, you're going to get offers. You're going to get offers at high schools and other places and potentially colleges. What do you see as your future, your career goals?
Being a career coach is always exciting when you think about it. Every year I do field opportunities that come from the collegiate level as well as some high schools from out of state. But for me, I've never made that move because it has to be right for my family.
Yeah.
And, I look at what we have built over there at Phoebus, and it's always hard to think about leaving it. So, you get a new set of kids in every year, and it's like, man, these kids are going to be hard to leave. And so I know that the kids will always be an anchor for me, something that'll pull me, keep me there. But, eventually I do believe if the right opportunity presents itself and it's right for my family at the time, that's something that I would consider.
Okay. Well, we hope you stay for a while because you made a huge difference in Phoebus, in Hampton. I mean, it is so important psychologically to be seen as a winner, but it's so important to touch the lives of, so many kids over 10 years and hopefully more. So
that is the best part. It is fun to win. I mean, no doubt about it. It's fun to take a team from January on through, if you're fortunate enough to make it until December, and to watch just putting a simple goal in front of them every day and then showing them how to utilize those objectives to obtain that particular goal, and to watch these kids come together and form those relationships and build that trust and overall buy into that process. It is fun to watch them win in the end. But the most important thing to me, and I mean this with all of my heart, is just watching their lives change. They have dreams of their own. So the team goals are great, but I'm really big on individual goals as well. And I really do preach to the guys that when you do it the right way, the team goals should match up, align with the individual goals, and the individual goals should align as well. And they should support one another. And if you're doing it the right way, you'll tend to see great things happen. And it won't always be the dream that you want at the end. I mean, it's not the real world.
Right.
But
your dream was probably to play a little bit
if I could have had it my
longer.
way, I would have loved to play on Sundays.
Yeah.
But I mean, from a talent standpoint and opportunities, it's not always the case. So real world, just preparing them for the real world and to watch that success, as their success as adults. I mean, that's the best part, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming by, and thank you for what you're doing.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay. And I hope you know a little bit more, understand why he's here, how lucky we are in Hampton to have a coach and a mentor of that caliber to work with our students. The back-to-back titles are great, but the years of building young men are even greater. Thanks for watching.